Welcome to today's 5-minute Bible study in the Gospel of John. Today we begin looking at John chapter 18. Now with chapter 18, we're moving into the last section of John's Gospel. The hour has now come. The crucifixion is only a few hours away. Of course, we know that late Thursday night or early Friday morning, perhaps, Jesus is going to be arrested, trial will follow, and the crucifixion. It all begins now in chapter 18. Those first couple of verses. When Jesus had finished praying, let's talk about that great priestly prayer he offered for his disciples in chapter 17. When he had finished praying, Jesus left with his disciples. He crossed the Kidron Valley. On the other side there was a garden, and he and his disciples went into it. So Jesus leaves the room in which they have shared the Passover meal, which he had that long conversation with his disciples that we looked at in chapters 14 through 17, which he prayed for them. And now he takes his disciples, all save Judas, who is left, you recall, on his act of betrayal. He takes his disciples across the Kidron Valley to a garden. We are told in the other Gospels that this is the Garden of Gethsemane. And Jesus retreats there for a time of prayer. Now, John doesn't mention the prayer in the garden. The other Gospels do, but we know that's what's going on. So they retreat to the garden. It seems this was a regular place Jesus would go for such times of prayer and meditation and devotion, time with the Father. We know that because Judas knew exactly where he was. And so while Jesus and the other disciples are in the garden, while he is praying, Judas comes, the betrayer. Verse 2. Now Judas, who betrayed him, knew the place, because Jesus had often met there with his disciples. And you see, that was often a place they would go for prayer. Judas comes to the garden. He is guiding a detachment of soldiers and some officials from the chief priest and the Pharisees. They are carrying torches, lanterns, and weapons. So Jesus leads these soldiers to the place he knew Jesus would be so that they might arrest him in the darkness when there's no crowd around that might cause a disturbance or even a potential riot. They want to get him in a quiet time, and so this is the perfect moment, Judas thinks. So he brings the soldiers to the garden. Now these are not Roman soldiers. These soldiers are Jewish soldiers. They're part of the temple police. Under the Sanhedrin, which is the Jewish ruling council, and they are allowed to govern local affairs under, of course, the authority of the Romans. To maintain the public peace is part of their responsibility. And of course, what they are doing is what they consider police action. They consider Jesus to be a disturber of the peace, and so they're out to arrest him. So these are Jewish soldiers. They're part of the temple police, that establishment, and they're sent by the Sanhedrin to take Jesus. Judas is their guide. You see, his betrayal is he knew where Jesus would be. He knew what would provide an opportune time, and so he leads the soldiers to where Jesus is. Verse 4. Now Jesus, of course, knowing all that was going to happen to him, he went out and he asked them, this is the group of soldiers, "Who is it you want?" And they said, "Jesus of Nazareth." "I am he," Jesus said. Judas the traitor was standing there with them. When Jesus said, "I am he," they drew back and they fell to the ground. There's something about the demeanor of Jesus that frightens them. They've come to arrest him, and yet when he so boldly steps forward, who you looking for? "Well, Jesus, I'm the one." That frightens them. They kind of retreat. Again, he asked them, "Who is it you want?" They said, "Jesus of Nazareth." "I told you that I'm he. If you're looking for me, let these others go." This happened so that the word would be fulfilled. "I have not lost one of those you gave me." So Jesus is prepared for his arrest. He knows what is about to happen, and he's come for this hour. He's not attempted to evade it. This is the hour for which he has come. This is the beginning. Now, in tomorrow's session, we'll look at the trial before first the Jewish Sanhedrin, and then, of course, the trial before Pilate. But all that begins with his arrest in the garden. But notice how prepared he is, for the hour has come. And, of course, he's looking out for his other disciples. "You just come from me, let these go," which of course they do. So tomorrow we'll pick up with when they take him for the first trial, and we'll see how events unfold after that. So join us next time for our 5-minute Bible study in the Gospel of John.